So in today's video, I will be presenting three specific artifacts that are in the new exhibit at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts called Wolves. It is a new exhibit, like I said, made by Dempsey Bob. That is his actual name. And I'll also, of course, include a video that I took at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts after I've presented the three artifacts. So we see here one of the artifacts that was created by the artist himself. You'll see the description here. I won't read it all, but it is a description that was made, as usual, by the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts itself. This particular artifact is called Northern Eagles. It was made in 2011 from yellow cedar and acrylic paint. It's normally part of the Odin Art Museum in Whistler, British Columbia. So the artist is originally from one of the tribes in Western Canada, so specifically British Columbia. And like many Native American tribes, but not all, the tribe is maternal. It's a matriarchy society. So the lineage is calculated by the mother's side. The mother, like her mother and her mother before her, etc., were part of the Wolf tribes, which is the whole point of the name of this exhibit. So, because his mother was part of that tribe, that's his tribe as well. Of course, for most people, we get our name and our heritage from our father. But like I said, in many Native American tribes, your heritage, your name, your family lineage is determined by the mother. Now, I'm not saying that this is the case for this Native American tribe, but often that is the case because we know for a fact that you came from your mother. Your father, on the other hand, until fairly recently, until DNA tests, you could have been from any father. So unless your father and you had a unique birthmark that could be passed down exclusively from the father, it was really difficult to determine for certainty that yes, you're that person. That person is, sorry, your father, etc. Right? Until, of course, like I said, recently with DNA tests. Now we can, if we're uncertain, we can do DNA tests to see who the father is, right? Of course, this leads to things like the TV show, The Maury Show, and all that stuff. And I'm sure we all have seen those clips of, oh, you're not the father, and all that. But like I said, this is just my own personal thought and take on it. I'm not saying that this is what goes on with this this particular tribe or with any other tribe. But like I said, the general thought for many is we know who your mother is. We can't always prove who the father is, which is why it's so important to know your mother, your mother, your mother, right? So I hope that you guys are enjoying this particular artifact. And you'll notice in the other two, with these artifacts, you're not seeing it on face to face. You're seeing the profile, the side look. So some of it is the left side, sometimes it's the right side, but they still have a three-dimensional aspect to it. So you still see a little bit of the other side of the face with it, but it's really showing just the one side. I'm not 100% sure as to why this artist decides to do his sculptures this way. It's certainly different, especially when you're thinking about portraitures or representing faces. You're really seeing it face to face, right? You see both eyes, you see the full nose. It's unusual to see a portrait being done this way, so it's definitely very unique. The other thing that I've noticed with this particular sculpture is that it's very much similar to both the Haida tribe that is also located in British Columbia, but also the Inuit as well tend to have this kind of look to it. It tends to be very different from what I see in other Native American tribal art or religious relics, etc. They also, like many in the Western tribes, participate in what's called potlucks. It's sort of like that, we get that in the English terminology, that idea of potluck, where everybody brings something and then shares and gives a gift to other people. So it's sort of linked in that same way. I'm pretty sure our idea of potluck comes from that tribal practice, but basically, potluck is often a time where the tribe will join together in a celebration and give a gift to either one particular person or to everybody, right? So obviously the traditions would depend on the village and the tribe, etc., but that general idea of let's take a moment to join together, celebrate, exchange gifts, and really commune together, right? That was banned at one point as well, in Canadian history. I know I've said it in a couple of other videos. Although Canada does have overall a very good reputation, um, the way we've treated and still treat to some degree the Native American tribes in Canada is not something to be proud of. There's a lot of history where tribal individuals and tribes as a whole were very much mistreated. I believe, for those of you interested there, and if you're in Canada, there is a movie out. I forgot the name of it. Hopefully, for those of you who don't know, whenever I do these kinds of videos where I'm criticizing or talking about multiple artifacts in one video, I'll often stop and start, stop and start. So if I do find the name of the movie that's talking about the Native American tribal experiences with the residence schools here in Canada, I will mention it in the other one of the other two parts I'll be doing in this video, because it looks like a very interesting movie. I don't know if it's still in theaters now, or it was one of those that was just in theaters for a little bit, but it looks like one of those really interesting stories to hear about, and it's from their experience. And I think they went to the Catholic Church, because it was a Catholic church that was running these residence schools in Canada, and it was just really a really horrible part of Canada's history. You had children literally being torn away from their families by force. And definitely, like I said, not a wonderful, prideful moment in Canadian history. And that it's, something that even to this day, it's almost become, standard practice now, that when a new prime minister is elected, that they go and apologize for this. I don't know if reparations were ever made to the Native American tribes. I know for many, they still have a lot of things that they live in reservations. Most don't pay taxes, etc. But to be honest, like I said, I don't know if they get reparations, if many are claiming it, if they don't, etc. That would be something that I would have to research and or talk to somebody who is a Native American person, and see what their experience is like. So, like I said, this is just things that you guys should know and can verify for yourself as well. I try not to be so sour with my reviews, but unfortunately, this is something that needs to be mentioned whenever you involve Native American art or talk about Native American artists, etc. And to really remind people that bad things have happened even here in Canada. So here's our next artifact that we're looking at today. So as you can see, this one is going to be called. This one's going to be called Eagles North, and as you can see, it was made in 2013 out of yellow cedar and acrylic paint. So I really like this one, where, like I said with the previous one, that it's more of a side view, so it's a relief kind of thing, but that there's several different elements that you're seeing. So you're seeing a woman holding something or someone in her hands. You're seeing another person at the bottom being held in the eagle's mouth, or what seems to be some kind of a bird. And of course, you have the bird holding the woman on top as well. You have the other person or baby perhaps at the back. And then in between, you also have other elements or objects or animals also sculpted in here. So there's a lot of little things that you're seeing, and as you'll see in all the artifacts that I'll be showing today, but when you go on to my Flickr account, I'll try to remember to put in the description the link for this album, for this particular exhibit in the description. A lot of the items don't have a lot of paint and a lot of color to them. And if they do have some paint, it's mostly black and or white, maybe a little bit of red and other colors, but there's not a whole lot of paint to attract your eyes. So you're really just seeing mostly the sculpting that's going to attract you're looking at each item like, oh, what's this? What's that? And really, like a lot of Native American artifacts or items, uh, that it's really about the symbology in each item that's really going to be there to basically teach you a story, tell you a story, right? It's a culture that's more verbal rather than written. And I guess to some degree, this is considered uh, or could be considered written because obviously in stone, it's carved in wood, right? So there is a more longevity to it, but um these symbols mean something, sort of like hieroglyphs, right? um so although hieroglyphs aren't words like what we would see, versus the right side where you're seeing the description of it, right? With these symbols, they tell a story, they mean something, right? So when you see an eagle, for one tribe an eagle means something, right? When you see a frog, when you see a turtle, when you see a woman, etc., etc., right? These mean something. For this particular tribe that the artist is part of, for him, frogs are extremely important. They're the creature of knowledge. What for other tribes, it's the owls, etc., right? So you'll see different tribes will put importance on different things, on different animals. And that's why it's so important not to just, oh, the Native Americans, like the royal like it's all means the one thing, right? We tend to do that with Asians as well, where we tend to, oh, the Asians are like, well, no, a Japanese person is very different from a Chinese person, is different from Korean or Cambodian or Laotian or whatever. So the Native Americans are the same thing. It's just because one tribe believes in something doesn't mean all the tribes believe in that, and that you really have to make sure that when you say, oh, this is important, that you say, oh, this is important for this particular tribe or this particular person. It's not necessarily representative of all the tribes, of all Native Americans. Yes, there's certain things that are going to be relatively universal, where you're going to see that a lot of Native American tribes have this in common. Like I said, like the importance of animals in Native American cultures still tends to be something important, but that doesn't mean it's always for the same reason. Crows sometimes are good omens, sometimes they're bad omens, etc. Right? So just because crows are important doesn't mean it's important for the same reason. So just be mindful of that when you go into talking about Native Americans or learning about Native American culture. Just be mindful that sometimes you're really learning something that's unique to a particular tribe or geographically linked tribes. So it might be something that may be important to tribes in the Northeast, but not in the Western tribes, etc. Okay. And today's this is going to be the last artifact that we're going to see in this video, called Hawk Human Portrait Mask, made in 2003 out of Tara wood and acrylic paint. And it is part of the collection of Eric Savik's. So this one was inspired um, by Maori work and Maori artists. Okay, and it's you'll see that it does have that influence of the South Pacific Native Americans and the Maori tribe that's there as well, that tend to do face painting. So especially on the chin of the face. So that's why you see at the bottom of the face mask that little circle mark and etc. In Maori traditions, usually those of nobility have those tattoos on their face. So it's not something that everybody does in the Maori tribes, but it tends to be more high class. Now, obviously, these days, traditions tend to change, so it may not necessarily be as true today as it was. Beforehand, but by all means, those who are experts in Maori traditions or are Maori themselves, please let me know if this still holds true. But from what I've learned, Maori tribes, facial tattoos really are a sign of nobility and being of quote unquote a higher class, etc., of a different class. Now, I know it sounds a bit inappropriate when you say high class, but for many tribes and cultures in India as well, people are uh, categorized very differently, right? Now, obviously, in India, it is officially banned, although many people still practice it, but they just call it differently or don't say oh, this is for this is because of that, etc. Okay, so I hope that you guys liked my reviews and enjoy my content. Please let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are. And of course, after this particular clip, you're going to see a little special, little mini tour that I did at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts. So I hope you enjoy. And of course, there is one little outtake after this as well. So enjoy. Have a great day, great week, great life, whatever it is. Hope everything is great. So as you can see, this is a special event for members only. It's nice that they have this little section. So you can see there's some food, some drinks available. So every once in a while they have special events just for members. So as you can see, sometimes it's nice to have a membership card at the museum. So this is the Museum of Fine Arts. One of the views that you're gonna have from the section that's normally not open to the general public. So I'm just giving you guys a little bit of a view. Hope you guys enjoyed. Quick little last little tour. Oh, we have somebody there working. We're spying on them. Shh, don't tell them. So in today's video, I'll be talking about three specific uh, artifacts. La, 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 la.